Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Krashy, and today we're going to be doing a solo queue tier list. Yes, honestly, I still kind of put 5-stack opinions into this. I'm going to be completely honest, and we're actually going to use tier list maker today because why not? Let's go ahead and throw myself in the C tier. But yeah, this is my tier list maker. I'll put a link in the description if you would like to use this. I actually made this a while back just for the community to have some of these like cleaner images. Some of the older tier list makers that were out there were kind of ugly. But let's go ahead and dive into a tier list. Now, I kept kind of the same structure: S, A plus A, B plus B, and C. Why is that C tiny? That drives me crazy. So yeah, we'll go ahead and dive into this. Here's the thing: I like to focus on the solo queue part of the game, but you have to still represent the character strength. That's the decision I've made. So I'm putting this as the disclaimer. Let's dive into it. Lucario's S tier. As far as solo queue goes, this character actually isn't as good as it is in 5 stacks, but it's still incredibly strong. Like, if you get ramped up, if you get E-speed, if you play this character properly, you get your attack weight stacked, you're just blowing everything up. You're 2-shotting things, 3-shotting things. If you get Dreadnought, you're that much more stronger. Like, this character is just, this character's a menace. It's broken. I don't know what else to say about it. I have to give it that position. I think it is an incredibly strong character. On that note, let's go ahead and just stay with the all-rounders. I actually think that Garchomp is, the buffs to Garchomp were pretty good, but the thing about Garchomp is that it just doesn't really, it still doesn't have a place. It has to contest for jungle mostly. It can kind of top lane, but like not really. And I think that Garchomp is good. It's just not great. So I'm going to give it a formidable A tier. Like, it feels like it's solid. It's definitely not the best out there in the world, but I feel like it's really, really good. As for Machamp, however, Machamp is incredibly strong. Some might even put it up here. I don't know. I'm not a big top lane player, and I think as far as solo queue goes, I think that Lucario is actually better. So I'm going to give it like a kind of conservative A+ tier. The character is so strong. It does so much damage. It blows things up. It has a crazy Unite move, and I think that it's definitely one of those characters that you should be considering to playing in lane. You can also jungle it. It feels like it's a good jungler. Not the best jungler in the world, but feels really, really solid. And I think that it's just a phenomenal pick, if I'm being completely honest. Now, we have Dragonite. Dragonite's seen some nerfs. It's seen some buffs to its Outrage, E-speed, and like that side of the build. And ultimately, I'm not gonna lie, I think that this character is still much better than I gave it credit for, maybe in the past. I really am not paying attention to my old tier list, but I think this character is solid, especially in solo queue. If you're running Hyper Beam, you have still one of the best, if not the best, objective secures in the game with, the max stacks, like the triple Dragon Dance stacks with Hyper Beam. You can blow things up. I think it's a phenomenal jungler outside of anything else. It's one of the better options to play in jungle, but the team fight on this character is not great. It's not great. You can use Score Shield on it, score a bunch with the Unite move. You can, use the 50% charge, so you get more Unites than most characters do. You can Score Shield with it. I think that this is a great character for solo queue. Really, really good jungler. Now, Charizard. I really don't know if I think Charizard's here, like below these other two, or here. I'm really, honestly not sure. I want to say that it feels like it's like right in here somewhere. I think that Charizard's really, really good. It's a really solid jungler pick. I don't think it's the best jungle pick, but it's really, really competitively viable. I definitely know that it's better than Garchomp, so it would either be like slightly above Garchomp, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in the A+ tier. I think that the all-rounder meta feels pretty solid, and yeah, Charizard's performing really, really well in jungle. Don't really see it in lane much, but performing really, really well. As for Serena, I don't know. I think that Serena may be B+ tier. The problem with this character is that like it just doesn't. It's a shadow of its former self, right? Like it can't really get the job done the way that it used to, and unfortunately, it just falls a little bit short. I do think that Garchomp is better. I do think that Garchomp has a better Unite move, has a better team fight, clears better. Like, I think that Garchomp just does everything a little bit better. And last but not least, for the all-rounders, we have our newly added Aegislash, which I think it's a little trivial, but I think that it's, really either bottom of A+ tier or high A tier. So I'm going to go ahead and put it high A tier. This character in solo queue is honestly kind of rough to carry with. You can't really carry. You can pop off in a team fight. You can be incredibly disruptive. You can sponge a lot of damage, mitigate a lot of damage, shield a lot of damage, but you need your team to like come in and clean up with you. and you just can't guarantee that in solo queue. That said, even for 5 stacks, I still don't think this character is contesting top lane too hard. I don't think this character is contesting a jungle position too hard. So at the end of the day, I think that Aegislash is good, not great. Feels really solid, definitely better than, I think probably better than Garchomp and Serena, or at least comparable to Garchomp. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking of the all-rounders. Now, let's jump into the supporter tier list. Let's go ahead and do it. I'm doing it, and again, this is, especially when talking about tanks and supporters, this is where it's about character strength. I gotta be honest with you. Does it feel good to go into solo queue playing Wiggly and Eldegoss? Not really, but solo queue is kind of like the solo duo trio umbrella understanding of what solo queue is. So if you know that you have a good teammate, or you know you have a good composition and you want to go with faith, playing Wiggly and Eldegoss is S tier. They're S tier characters. They're amazing in lane. Wiggly brings so much pressure with Sing, has the ability to control team fights, has an amazing, if not the best Unite move in the entire game. And Eldegoss, you throw a muscle band on it and you're basically a light attacker. You basically are. You're going to do crazy damage, you're going to support the hell out of your team, you're going to bring an amazing Unite move, big heals, big shields, big mobility, objective secure with the Unite move potential. These characters are crazy. And so while I know they're not literally the best characters to pick in solo queue, they are some of the best characters to pick in the entire game. So let this be that disclaimer that, like, yes, they're supports or a tank if you look at Wiggly, but they can get a lot of work done. So I definitely think we have to look at it in that way. As for someone like Blissey, you know, Blissey is honestly strong, but it does fall way more short in solo queue. I think that Blissey is strong though. Seriously, if you are playing with someone good, if you're playing with a good Aegislash, a good Greninja, a good Cinderace, you can do amazing things with this. But even still, it's just not the best pick out there. Really solid heals, really solid supporting, good for laning phase for you know, using your pound, I think it is, to, you know, secure farm. But, you know, at least in 2-on-2 anyways, in solo queue, but not the best pick out there. And Mr. Mime. You know, Mr. Mime has taken some hits in the slow smoke meta. I think that in solo queue, maybe you could pull off an A+ tier, but honestly, Mr. Mime, whether it be the defender kind of role like that it kind of holds, it just has fallen down quite a bit with the strength of slow smoke. I just don't think you're going to get that much done with it where you could just play something else, especially when we're kind of leaning into the idea of like defenders, right? Speaking of which, we got to talk about it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I feel like Greedent is actually S tier in general, but as far as solo queue goes, this character is ridiculous. Even if you're just laning it, even if you're jungle invading it, I don't know, maybe this is probably a little bit more true for like the representation of the character. I'm not really organizing left or right, by the way. I'm just kind of doing it by class. This is probably a little bit more true for the strength of the character, but this character pops off. You can steal, you can run away, covet, belch, stuffed cheeks, bullet seed, it doesn't matter what you play, this character brings a ton of value. I think that Greedent is one of the best solo queue characters to play because you're so annoying, you're hard to KO, you can bring damage to the team, you can steal objectives, you can steal farm. It's super, super annoying. It is so annoying. Unfortunately for Crustle, not so good. Just, you know, the thing is that this character, this is like more literal. This character gets some brownie points in solo queue. I could probably put it in B+ tier. You know, comparing this to like Snorlax in solo queue, it actually performs better, but it's so hard. Like, how do I put, you know, where do I put these characters in a tier list like this? I think that like they're both good. Like Snorlax is a good tank, but in solo queue it feels so bad to play. And ironic enough, in solo queue, Crustle is actually way better than it is in 5 stacks. In 5 stacks, I think Crustle is like a bottom 3 character. Like, I really think it's like down here. But in solo queue, you can just score a bunch and bring a bunch of value. I still don't recommend it. I don't really recommend playing Snorlax in solo queue either, unless it's the same thing. Like, yeah, if you're playing with a teammate and you know that they can do well, but even still, it's just not the best that it used to be. It's kind of taken a hit, it's fallen behind a little bit, and it just doesn't feel that great. But Mammoth Line and Slowbro do feel great. They feel amazing. I think that both Mamoswine and like Telekinesis Slowbro bring a ton of CC to the table. Really, really good early laning phase, really good early laning secure with Water Gun. You're gonna do a lot with these characters. If you're going Amnesia Potion, you're super tanky with an amazing Unite move. If you're playing Mamoswine, you have an okay Unite move, but a lot of CC to the table. You bring so much CC to the table. These characters, again, this is about the strength of the character, not necessarily playing on solo queue. These characters just bring a lot to a team. So even if you are solo queuing, I know you can't really rely on the matchmaking, but they just bring so much to the team. So much to the team. Blastoise, I'm not gonna lie, is pretty solid. Yeah, Blastoise feels like a current Mr. Mime, right? Usually Blastoise gets like some brownie points for being like a solo queue tank, but I'm not gonna lie, I just don't think it's, I don't know, I guess I could put it here. It's so weird. It's so weird trying to mesh the actual strength of the character versus the strength of playing the actual like character in solo queue. It's so bizarre. I'm trying to do this weird like amalgamation hybrid. Yeah, I don't know. This is just kind of like what the character does. It's like it's good in solo queue because you can bring a crazy big Unite move, but honestly, it's not the best. It's got like both Blastoise and realistically, it's just Blastoise and Crustle. They just get brownie points. Where I think the tanks would be like this, solo queue does this. So that's just kind of my opinion on the tanks currently. It's weird. And then you have Trevenant, which I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just don't think Tree is very good. It's not the worst thing in the world. In solo queue, it's probably better than Snorlax. So like here, this is such a weird tier list. But yeah, there you have it, I suppose. There you have it, I suppose. All right, let's go ahead and get into Speedsters. Honestly, for solo queue, Absol's like a solid A tier. There's always something better, but this character can get the job done. You really can. You can get the job done. You can snowball a game. It feels really solid. You're just not going to scale into the end game. Gengar is like the same, but it's just worse. Gengar is just like a pretty bottom tier character, probably in the bottom 3 characters, and really struggles. Who doesn't struggle though is Talonflame. Talonflame feels phenomenal. Is really strong, crazy objective secure, crazy team fight, spammable Unite move, really strong character. And Zeraora feels formidable. You know, this character has the weird like level 10 leveling curve. It doesn't feel great, but it's like fine. Like the character gets ramped up and you can basically blow things up. So the character's really good in solo queue. But I honestly don't think that this character is very good. Again, same thing with like solo queue tier list. If this was like more of a team queue tier list, I would do something like this, where I will pull it all down. But in solo queue, they bring themselves up a little bit. All right, last but not least, let's look at the attackers. We have our S tier attackers for solo queue. Greninja, honestly, is just so good. Cinderace, honestly, so good. You put one of these in the jungle, your carry potential to win the game is so incredibly high, as well as Gardevoir in the A+ tier. Gardevoir jungle, so strong. You do still need a little bit of peel or just to be very good at Gardevoir, but incredibly strong character these 3 attackers are. You're going to bring crazy Unite moves to the table. Greninja not so much, but crazy Unite moves to the table. Lots of kiting DPS, crazy burst at range, and it feels amazing. Decidueye is the worst character in the game. Yep, that's it. Pikachu, insane laner. The best laner, if not. Really strong character. I think that you cannot sleep on Pikachu. I think you cannot sleep on Venusaur. These are some of the 2 best laners you can pick. If you're playing solo queue and you're not in jungle, pick Venusaur, pick Pikachu. Listen to me again. If you are playing attacker and you're going lane, pick Pikachu, pick Venusaur. Don't lane Gardevoir, don't lane Greninja, don't lane Cinderace, pick Pikachu, pick Venusaur. These characters are insane. And Sylveon is formidable, right behind them. Unfortunately, I think that for solo queue, Cram and Ninetales get kind of left behind. They're not useless. They're not that bad. I honestly think Ninetales is in a decent spot. But for solo queue, it's hard to rely on the teammates. You can do well in lane with these characters, but they do fall behind. And I think that's where you have it. I think that, you know, some of these picks, again, are really weird. I have some picks that are bumped up just because of solo queue, but honestly, I'm going to say it. I actually think the balance of the game is in a pretty good spot. I think Aegislash truly did come out pretty balanced. I think that I could easily have put it up here, and that would have been fine to me, because I do think that it's slightly, like, this feels a little bit more accurate to me, but this looks nicer. So take it how you will, friends. If you're playing tanks and supports, remember, It's just a 50-50, but you're going to bring value to the team. That's how it is. And some of these characters, Absol, Zeraora, Trevenant, Crustle, they get bumped up just because... Honestly, I can't even put Trevenant that high. I can't do it. I can't do it. Like in solo queue, Crustle can be that high because you can just score a ton. Trevenant, you can't. I actually just think this character's troll. I think this character's so troll. I mean, I really do think that like Gengar, Trevenant, and Decidueye are just bottom 3, bottom 4 characters along with Crustle. But Crustle in solo queue, you can just score crazy. You just play it like score comp and you can go crazy with it. So there you have it. There you have it. We kind of took a little bit to find ourselves from point A to point B on some of these opinions. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Please drop a like on the video. Let me know your thoughts. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed to the channel for future Pokemon Unite content, let me know what has been performing well to you. Why shouldn't I put, you know, XYZ Pokemon in A tier or whatever, you know, because I definitely know someone's going to tell me, well, I'm really good at Cram. He's A+, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it to me. So friends, this is just my opinion. I'd love to hear yours. As always, be sure to be kind to one another. Tell someone that you love them, and I'll see you on the next video.